coming out. Joining me today up here, I want to introduce the folks with me. Next to me is Under Sheriff Derek Wilson, Detective Sergeant Mike Kenny, and Detective Kyle Boyd. Boyd and Kenny are the lead detectives on this case and have been so for the last couple of years. Melissa Simmons, Missy, known to those who knew her and loved her, 15, of Scottville, Michigan, was last seen alive on June 23rd, 1993, near the Scottville Wesco, located at 117 North Main Street in the city of Scottville. Melissa's body would later be recovered in the Pere Marquette River, west of the Indian Bridge off Reek Road in Custer Township. This press conference is to update the public and media on the investigation as information about the recent exhumation of Melissa has been circulating on social media. This remains a very difficult time for Missy's family, and we ask the public refrain from contacting the family direct. We ask that all comments or information be directed to either Detective Kyle Boyd or Detective Sergeant Mike Kenny at the Mason County Sheriff's Office, and their direct number is 843-3475. Detective Boyd's extension is 137, and Detective Sergeant Kenny's extension is 136. And again, we would ask you respect the privacy of the Simmons family as we work through this. It is my hope that members of the media will understand following this brief conference, questions will be very limited so as not to compromise the integrity of this case or inadvertently reveal details that investigators feel must be kept confidential. I would first like to thank Missy's family for their cooperation and willingness to always make themselves available to our detectives. Without them, we would not be making the progress in this case that we are. I would also like to thank the FBI for their support and availability to assist as needed, WMed, Wyman's Funeral Home, the Michigan State Police Crime Lab, and the Oceana County Sheriff's Office, which sent a detective last Friday to assist us. 2 years ago, I met with the Mason County Sheriff's detectives and asked them to take another look at this case. As the lone remaining member of the Mason County Sheriff's Office, from the day Melissa went missing, this case has haunted me since that time. No community ever wants to lose one of its members, but when you have a young teenage girl go missing and days later be found murdered, it not only shakes our residents, but it shakes law enforcement as well. I deeply appreciate the work of our detectives and their tireless dedication on behalf of Melissa. Their work has taken them to several states and conducted the following interviews to meet with potential new witnesses. In the last 2 years, these two detectives have re-examined every piece of evidence, reviewed every photograph and video taken from the original investigation. They created a timeline surrounding Melissa's disappearance. They worked closely with medical and DNA experts. They reviewed medical examiners' reports and re-interviewed the medical experts as well. They re-interviewed witnesses, eliminated individuals, and followed up on tips, conducted over 100 interviews, and including individuals who had never been interviewed before. Investigators developed additional persons of interest in Melissa's death. They submitted evidence for advanced testing, which was hand-delivered by Detective Boyd to a crime lab in Virginia, where a DNA profile was established, and additional testing continues. With all this work, investigators determined it was necessary to exhume Missy's body from the Pere Marquette Cemetery. That was done last Friday, August 9th, 2025. While the decision was not taken lightly, it is the right one to do. In my 40-year career, I can't recall ever exhuming a body here in Mason County. This action was based on information gathered over the past couple of years, and again, I will not be sharing what information it is in order to protect the integrity of this investigation. I would ask the public I would ask this of the public and those who knew Missy. If you knew Missy or interacted with her in the days before her disappearance, or had contact with her or someone after her disappearance, that you contact us. Even if you spoke with investigators in 1993, we want to make sure that we have as much information as possible. Every detail matters. Thank you again for helping Melissa. We are committed to this case and will continue with our efforts for as long as it takes to seek justice for Missy, her family, and our community. And with that, again, I would ask that you understand our comments and follow-up questions will be very limited, but we would entertain a few short questions. Anyone?
So
Steve.
obviously you must think this is more than just a fishing expedition. You do have some evidence. It costs money to exhume. You probably had to go through a judge to get that exhumation. So you must have something, though. Can you tell us whatever you can tell us?
So again, there was evidence that was determined to be of value that was significant enough that we flew Detective Boyd to Virginia through Reagan National in Washington, D.C. to hand deliver a specimen to a lab in Virginia. And a DNA profile was established, and that analysis continues to this day. And that's what led us to exhuming her body Friday. Yes, sir.
Can you just talk a little bit about how much this investigation weighs on you being the only remaining staff?
Yeah, we take every case equally serious. When you have a child that is murdered, and she was a child, she was 15 years old. When you have a child who is murdered, you understand the anxiety it creates in a community and the concerns it creates for moms and dads. To this day, I was contacted last night by a person who went to school with Melissa, would have graduated with Melissa, and even though they didn't run in the same circle, it was Scottville and Mason County Central. That's a small school, and it weighs heavy on folks. So it's a commitment we have, and being the only remaining member of our office, when my days are done here, I really hope the case is solved before I choose to retire when that time comes. But if not, I know that these guys, the undersheriff and our detectives, will continue to move forward with this investigation.
Does the family still come forward and ask you about this thing?
Yeah, our detectives are in contact with the family quite often. Chris?
Was it a review of the evidence from your department that moved this a little bit faster, or was it a tip from a community?
No, it was the detectives moving forward with the case.
Can you elaborate at all on that, what they might have found, or?
No, we're not going to get into what that evidence was, but it was significant, and it warranted the detectives coming to me asking if we would fly them to, or fly Detective Boyd to Virginia, and it was certainly significant enough. It was a risk we took, but there was a DNA profile that was established.
And when you mentioned DNA profile, is that because the individual might be there, or is the FBI center which is analyzing this information?
It was a profile that was established by the center in Virginia. I do appreciate you coming out. We get a lot of our information that we want to get out to the public is shared through our media outlets. And I certainly appreciate all of you coming out and taking an interest in this case. And again, if anyone has information, we'd ask you to reach out to our Detective Bureau, and I'll give that number to you again. It's area code 231-843-3475. Detective Sergeant Kenny's extension is 136, and Detective Boyd's extension is 137, and we'd ask you to reach out to them with any additional information. Thank you. Enjoy the day.